Welcome to Cigar Audit. Matt, Edward, Mateo, and Matthias here to go over a cigar that we were supplied by SDS Cigars called the ENVI III, which is the Sumatran wrapper. So, really good looking stick. So I'll start with you, Mr. Ed. What does your cigar look and feel like?
It has a little bit of a velvety sheen to it. Looks pretty well constructed. Cap's put on a little sloppy.
Yeah.
What is it, single?
That is a triple cap, actually. Yeah, there's 3 on mine.
Well, I can't really see that well with these bright lights.
I'm
It's
sorry.
shining in my face.
Bright lights!
I have 3 as well. I'm between my sunglasses and my hat. I can kind of see.
Yeah.
But, you know, looks like minimal veins, just a couple.
Yeah.
It's got a nice slight barnyard smell to it.
What about you, Mateo? What do you say?
I do have one slight issue here where it's cracking in the shoulder
Ooh, yeah.
a little bit, but other than that, it looks well constructed. Smells good,
Do you like with
and I also sit through. Oh, that's all right.
No, you're late, that's why you got that one.
And I can see that mine's triple cap as well. It's got a nice aroma, and I'm excited to smoke it.
Matthias, you have anything to say?
About the same. It looks good, it smells good, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I think it's a little, I'll say one thing that's maybe, I don't know if it's concerning, but it's a little spongier than I would typically see for, this is a 5 by, or a 6 by 50 stick. So usually they're a little tighter than that, but we'll see if that draw gets hot because of that.
It's consistent though. If you
It is
will.
consistent.
It's not like there's soft spots.
So I think mine's softer up here,
Oh,
a little
is it?
firmer towards the bottom.
Let's get these cut up and see what the prelight is. Just a few tidbits of information on the ENVI III. It is a Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper that is a Maduro with a Habano binder, and then fillers that are mixed between the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and Brazil. Not sure exactly where it's made, but interesting prelight so far. So I'll start with you, Matthias. What do you have in your prelight?
Well, like I stated, the draws. I think the draw's fine.
Yeah.
It feels good. I'm getting a little sweet through the draw. Not sure. Yeah, I'm picking up something, but I'm not really quite sure I can put my finger on it.
I can put my finger on it.
Thank you.
What about you, Mateo?
I was surprised the aroma was very mild, and then when I drew on it, I also got the sweetness and a lot of the words that you just said about the wrappers and this overall blend. I was expecting a lot of spice, and I was surprised I wasn't getting spice at first, but now that I'm drawing on it, the aftertaste does have spice. I'm getting like some cayenne pepper on my tongue and in the throat as
I agree, and I
Very
think
good.
that sweetness is like a sweet wood, like a
You
cedar.
said wood.
I did say wood. It's just a very nice sweet wood, and I do get that texture, peppery bite at the end. What about you, Mr. Edward?
See, I'm getting a lot of the sweeter spice. I'm not getting any of the pepper or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm getting it on the deep draw. I
very
definitely
subtle.
do. Yeah, but it's on the back of the throat.
yeah.
He's going deep.
You take it really deep. You'll have
Deep
some
throat
good-
it?
There's no pepper. I don't get any pepper. I just get more of a sweeter spice, a little bit of the barnyard, and
Tastes like shit.
when you say sweet wood, I would say more like a
Cedar.
sandal. No, for me it's like a sandal.
Okay.
wood.
Yeah, it's not a.
It's not like a cedar.
Right,
it's
it's not.
like a
I'm getting
sandal.
more of. I'm probably a little closer
lighter.
with what I've got off of mine. I do get a little bit of the pepper though, just the sensation, not
Yeah.
just
yeah.
a
Oh,
tiny,
flavor.
tiny little. Yeah.
It's a pleasant taste for
Yeah.
a pre-draw.
Yeah, pretty complex. So let's get these lit up and caught on fire and see what they taste like. So I'll start with you, Mateo. First impressions after the light.
Quite tasty.
Yeah.
Very pleasant aroma and taste. I got a little bit of sourdough right on the first couple of puffs. And so far it's very good. I don't have a lot of spice even on the retro hail. It's just that sweet sourdough and then a little bit in the throat afterward, just like with the pre-lit draw. Just a little bit of the How are you, Ed?
It's not very good for him, I guess.
Well,
What the hell? I'm getting some of the same as Mateo. with a little bit of that sourdough in the beginning. I'm also maybe a little bit of toast on the retrohale. No real strong spices or anything. It's kind of so far, I mean, it's just starting, but it's very smooth. And
So I'll say that I agree with the sourdough right off the bat with some sweetness to it. A little bit of spice through the nose. And I also get the finish kind of goes from the sourdough almost to a graham cracker.
yeah, maybe that's the toast I was picking.
Yeah, kind of like a graham cracker flavor. And then I would say one thing that's worth noting is that the texture is very creamy. The smoke is very thick, and you know, it's even somewhat oily on the lips with this wrapper. So, what about you, Edward?
I'm getting. I'm actually getting a lot. I like spicy cigars, and this through the nose. For me, it's pretty spicy. I mean, maybe I got more Lajero in mine. I'm getting a nice mix of the sweeter spices, but like I said before, through the nose, at least mine, at the tip, is pretty
I'm even getting
hefty.
I'm even getting hints of floral too, which is interesting, like a sweet floral mixed in there too. So quite complex already in the first impression. So we'll smoke these down a little further, and we'll let you know how the first third was. Welcome back to Cigar Audit. Matt, Edward, Mateo, Matthias here to go over SDS's Cigars ENVI III Sumatran wrapper in Maduro. So I'll start with you, Matthias. Your first third, sir.
It's pretty consistent, but it's creamy. I'm getting some cinnamon through the nose. It's been transitioning for me, kind of between mild, not a whole lot of, like a little bit of toast maybe, then up through the peppers, like up into white pepper, up to black pepper, back down. So it's been transitioning through the nose, retrohale wise, and that's one of the things that I enjoy from a cigar is the pepper. So it's actually a good first third for me.
Absolutely. You, Mr. Mateo?
Started off with sweet sourdough, and some of the retrohales I got black pepper as it transitioned into more of a cinnamon, and then it got creamier as it went. So it was just a creamy cinnamon, and then I started getting more of those toast flavors. Now it's like cinnamon toast.
Yeah.
No crunch.
No crunch?
Just cinnamon toast.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, it's quite good.
I think he got the crunch down there.
I see.
So I don't disagree with any of those comments. I would say that on the finish, that cinnamon turns to kind of like a graham cracker flavor with some of those pepper notes. And it has, I mean, the pepper kind of sticks. It's very mild, but it stays for a while. So the finish has got some pretty decent length to it. Draw's really good. The ash actually isn't all that great from the standpoint. It dropped maybe a half inch, and it flowers a little bit. Ed's is
You
doing
just don't
well.
know how to smoke it.
I'm sorry, I actually
Not
burned
bad,
my
man.
cigars.
Mine went pretty well.
Yeah. But thick smoke, very creamy smoke, and you know, well performing so thus far. So all right, so Mr. Ed, your first third. Back to that.
I would agree that the peppery spice has mellowed out, and it seems like the different flavors are now more unified. They don't stick out as much.
They're well blended. Yeah.
You know,
Agreed.
you know,
Blending.
thick smoke. Draws good. My stick is actually, well, as it will with the heat, is really softened up all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, and mine is actually burning just the right temperature, so I can hold it at the tip, not having any problems. Yours might be burning too hot. Well, anyway, we'll get down past the second third, and we'll let you know how that was. Well, welcome back to Cigar Audit. Matt, Edward, Mateo, and Matthias here to go over SDS's ENVI III in Maduro. So I will start with you this time, Mr. Ed. Your second third. How has it been?
It's mellowed out a lot, I think, as far as the spice goes. And like you guys had mentioned, it's starting to turn really creamy. My burn has been good. Draw's good.
Yeah, I would say the second third, the spice died down even more, and the cream was more prevalent. Sweet at times, even got hints of vegetal notes and even hints of floral notes through the nose. So very smooth, performing well, other than some relights, but it also is just a tad bit humid outside. So, what about you, Matteo?
Definitely creamy. Sort of been a roller coaster of spice. It's up and down. I've been retrohaling just about every puff, and some of them are extremely mild. Some get a nice kick of spice.
Yeah.
It's like a box of chocolates. You really don't. You really don't.
Read the lid.
Nah. Shut up, Ed! Don't ruin it for everyone. But I pointed out the crack in the shoulder when I started. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but it is kind of falling apart a bit. It hasn't been too much of an issue though. It hasn't unraveled, but it is starting to. As I get to the end, I might not be able to finish this. We'll see. The burn has become uneven a little bit. I did touch it up once. So overall it's performing okay. I knew that the shoulder was going to be an issue, but the flavors are great.
Yeah, flavors are definitely outperforming the construction in most cases. Bias?
So much of the same, lots of cream, very cream. I mean, if I had to give like the overall, what was the strong binding thing of this cigar, it would be the cream. My burn's been perfect. I had a quick touch up right after I lit just because I didn't quite light as square as I should have. But other than that, it's been perfect. It's performing flawless. The one thing I'm noticing is the aroma off the smoke is very pleasant. It's got a cinnamon. I don't know if it's cinnamony or like a spice, like a baking spice. I'm not sure what it is.
It's like a mixture of Christmas
ginger.
spices.
Yeah, it's very, very good aroma
nutmeg.
on the nose from the smoke. So that's just an interesting note. So
Now, but what about the finish? Are you guys getting a lot of those sweet spices on the finish, and how long does it last for you guys? Because for me, I definitely, it's not powerful, but they're there.
they're there, but I guess I'm just really picking out the cream and a little bit of the pepper, on the white pepper when it comes on the nose.
And off camera, we discussed quite a bit the graham cracker taste.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm definitely getting that, and it does stay with you.
Yeah, I think the finish is quite long.
Yeah, I think it's long, but it's not a strong or real spicy finish. But that graham cracker flavor is what you get after the initial.
Yeah, that's
call.
Teddy Grahams.
Teddy Grahams. Yeah, it's
Cinnamon?
with
Teddy
some
Grahams?
cinnamon Teddy Grahams. Graham nonetheless. But so far so good. So we'll finish these up and we'll let you know how the last third was. All right. Well, welcome back to Cigar Audit. Matt, Edward, Matteo, and Matthias here to go over the last third of SDS's Cigars ENVI III in Sumatran wrapper. So, Mr. Ed, I'll start with you. Your last third, sir.
It really hasn't changed a lot. The spice has come back a little bit down here at the end. Still creamy. Mine is burning pretty well. You know, see how far down I am, and it's not burning real hot. Overall, I think it's been pretty consistent smoke. There's been changes here and there. I would say not overly complex, but a lot of changes. And at times, you know, some of the flavors pop out here and there, but most of the time they're well unified and well blended all the way through.
I agree. I think the last third has, for me, I still have the creaminess, I still have a little bit of that graham cracker, but I also have some vegetal notes that are coming in. And it's kind of interesting. Usually at the end of a cigar, you get a lot of earthy notes. You get a little bit of earth throughout the whole thing, but it's more vegetal in nature. I get some spice here and there, so I'm getting a little bit more spice at the end, but performing well. I had some wrapper issues, but again, I want to give it a little bit of a pass from the weather standpoint. But I do think that my wrapper and your wrapper were a little bit thin. So, what about your last third, sir?
Me?
Yes, you.
Hi.
Sorry. Hi.
Yeah, it did mellow out into a creamy cinnamon graham cracker type taste. Still thick smoke, delicious. Poor construction on this last third.
Yeah.
Again, mine was thin. We knew about the crack on the shoulder. It's kind of falling apart. I'm using the perfect draw here to nub it, and I'm still enjoying the flavors.
Yeah.
It's just starting to unravel. I'm starting to get pieces of tobacco in my mouth. But it's still enjoyable.
Now let me ask about, we know you had the crack in the shoulder, but are your wrapper issues where the band was?
No, I didn't have any issues with the band. The band on this is a ribbon that was taped, and I used my pocket knife to pry the corner of the tape, and I was able to peel it off quite easily. I didn't do any damage to the cigar when removing the ring.
And I would suggest, in regards to the band, if you can slide it off before you smoke it, you're probably better off. Otherwise, pry up the tape and it'll come off easily. What about you, Matthias?
It's performed well. I had one minor touch up in the final third here. Pretty consistent with your descriptions throughout. Mine a little bit stronger on the palate, but again more unified with that again the graham cracker kind of long long on the palate. But yeah, it's been a wonderful stick.
Awesome. So I'll start with you, Edward. If you were to rate said cigar, how would you rate it?
I'd probably go about 91, I think. I think a lot of the burn issues, I mean, it has been raining here for a week, so,
Yeah.
it's very humid. So I think we can attribute some of that to that.
Yeah, I think that I'll say that the wrapper's a little thin, so I think that's a viable comment, but some of the relight issues, I do think because it's so humid that makes sense. I'm at a 91 as well. I think the flavors are really good. I think the flavors to me are higher rating than the construction, but nonetheless, I think it's performing well. How about you?
I agree. Flavors above construction. Flavors, I would say, are low 90s, and construction would be mid 80s for mine. And taking all that into account, I'm going to give it an 89.
Yeah. Good. You, Matthias?
It's a solid. Mine's been solid. We're about 50% on the construction. Between the four of us. For that, I'm coming in right at 90. So.
Good. Yeah, we're all in the same range. It's a good cigar. I've never had one of theirs before, so thank you for the folks at SDS Cigars for providing these. They're primarily brick and mortar cigars. You have to go to a B&M to find them, but in general, it's worth a good chunk of change to pick one of these up, see if it's your profile. But a very creamy, enjoyable stick. Very little nicotine, so if you're one that doesn't like a lot of nicotine, this is not a full strength necessarily, but it is full flavor, so medium full flavor. So thank you again for watching Cigar Audit. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Check us out on the Institute, Twitter, all the social media stuff, and don't forget to check out CigarAudit.com. Lasting words?
I'll pick it up. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, good cigar. So we'll see you next time. Peace.
How are you, Ed?
It's not very good for him, I guess.
Well,
What the hell?